please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? On this channel we have covered Iilluminaughtii quite a number of times, because since the first real straw that broke the camel's back happened, Iilluminaughtii's been going into a nosedive. At time of recording, not the most active creator. Channel is, much like Tipster's, new short on him on this channel, dead. And much like Tipster, entirely her fault. At present there is an ongoing trial with Oz Media. Oz Media, being transparent, has decided to make a video on the 1st of June 2024 titled Dear Iilluminaughtii, posted to Oz Media's channel, 67 minutes long. Oz Media goes through everything we need to know, showing us, telling us everything that has transpired and what is going to happen next. Oz Media though starts with a rather interesting point, that if Iilluminaughtii does want to watch the video, she can simply skip to the outro part.
Blair, if you or your lawyers are watching this, I implore you to at least watch the outro, preferably before June 7th.
Because there's something there for her. Because we know, courtesy of Mad Catster, a lot of the legal side hasn't been going her way. She's had to make multiple changes and amendments to her claims to try and get this before a judge in a court, because she's falsely reported things, she's misrepresented bits, she's not properly filed the things, all the usual legal gubbins that I don't understand but Mad Catster does. So essentially, Iilluminaughtii is wasting money and time. We know this, it has been demonstrably proven true. So it should come as no surprise, Oz Media is going to offer an olive branch, hence the title. This olive branch though comes with consequences, and I think they should be explored. And if Iilluminaughtii can get off a high horse long enough, she should give them some serious consideration. I want to play a couple bits from Oz's video that I think are important to acknowledge, and go through that offer, because I want to share this with the class. And I'll link the full video in the pinned comment down below.
We're here right now because Blair, owner of Pyramid Entertainment LLC, or better known as her public YouTube personality Iilluminaughtii, is currently in the process of suing me, as well as other prior employees for defamation and other claims.
Much of which has in fact been debunked. One of her core arguments concerns NDAs. And then when she amended her original claims, she shifted to anecdotal evidence. Nothing more.
I will actively be showing all and any evidence related to dismantling her claims against me, as well as the other parties she's involved in this misplaced legal crusade of hers. My lawyer is aware I'm doing this.
The fact that Oz Media is compiling, and going to be compiling more in fact, videos on this, with everything, all receipts and all that transparency, I like a lot. I like that this is being sent to her legal team, that it can in fact be used in the courtroom as his testimony and evidence, in fact. I'm not too familiar with the goings-on in a courtroom when it comes to using YouTube videos, but I do recall seeing them used in the past for fair use. Certainly Aquila, obviously, and Sargon of Akkad. Beyond that, this feels kind of fresh. I like it.
Of the amount donated, GoFundMe takes a fee with each donation. This can be seen on screen here with this nice little chart breakdown they provide. At this point in time, which more information can be found as an update in the original GoFundMe, this lawsuit has cost over $40,000. I've been posting all of my legal invoices for full transparency, and more will be posted soon. The redacted information within them is information subject to attorney-client privilege, which also spells out my current legal strategy. This would be foolish to allow Blair's legal team access. This is why the redactions are as heavy as they are, as they include itemized lists of my lawyer's actions throughout the case's initial proceedings.
This level of openness and transparency is vitally important, especially if you're going to tell the online space. You want to share with the online space what you're doing, but not give away too much, because then Blair will try and find, or her team will try and find, a way to circumvent it. Then again, if this has cost Oz Media 40 grand, I can't imagine this has been overly cheap for Blair either. If she owns multiple properties, I can imagine at least one of them has been heavily mortgaged. A pointless endeavour that will yield no real positive outcome for her.
Because I'm exhausted with the, in my opinion, legal shenanigans Blair is currently pulling, this video exists. Blair's actions are the reason we are here. If you would like a full breakdown of every court filing to date, I would recommend YouTuber Mad Catster. That being said, I have no issue hesitations, or fears in connection to proceeding with this lawsuit. I am confident in the direction things are going, and I just want to offer a path to end this before we're stuck in this for years on end. This will be further explored in the outro.
Now, I have heavily cut that down, of course I have. I apologise to Oz Media for that. A reduced version, simplified, is typically what I try and do anyway. It is vitally important to acknowledge that everything that Mad Catster has shown, some of which he very kindly sent my way and I have covered on this channel, quite clearly shows how desperate Blair is because she has had to repeatedly amend her claims. Repeatedly. The judge wanted to throw it all out because of how pointless and futile her case is, and will always be. It is great that a new GoFundMe has been set to help everyone else involved, except for Blair, of course, because then that means others are going to be helped. And of course, all of those that are affected then posting their invoices to show they are not embezzling this. They're not committing some kind of keffels here. Fraud, for those who don't know. I am going to skip over the timeline because I have covered a fair amount of what has been discussed in this video on this channel. I am going to link Mad Catsters in the pinned comment as well as this video though, because I do think you should have an equally analytical mind as well as an opinion-based mind, so that being analytical for Mad Catster, opinion, and factual from that of Oz Media, linked down below. Highly recommend you go and watch all of that, and Oz's video as well. So we can skip to the outro because I am very interested to know what the offer is.
Here we are. The outro per se. As I mentioned earlier, I'm making Blair an offer, publicly, to put an end to this. Because of this, however, this does mean that for the next month, I'm on the hook for my own legal bills, and as of today, this is going to be a rough month, as this one's out of pocket, so it looks like it's the mini-wheats diet for me.
Of a near $20,000 goal, currently it sits at $16,000 raised. A fantastic amount, and I of course hope that it continues to grow. Shortly after discussing that, Oz mentions a bereavement within his family, with his partner. I'm really sorry for your loss. I'm not going to play that part. The word should come from you. So everyone should go to that channel and listen to that instead. But it is a compounding stress factor added as to why this offer even exists. And rightfully so. I hope Blair listens, though. She's not done very well in the past at that.
My settlement to you, Blair, would allow you to follow the morals that your channel has advocated for. Or, in your words, be dedicated to upholding your channel's values and delivering on your commitments. Or, as this handy video you uploaded a week before you sent out cease and desist states.
When something as horrible as this happens, people always come out and admit fault and tell the horrifying truth of their continued negligence and malpractice, right? Yeah, you're right, that never happens. What am I thinking? Instead, they usually do their best to hide everything and blame anyone but themselves, and wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happened here too.
I'm somewhat surprised Blair hasn't removed that video from YouTube yet. It's hardly getting any additional passive views right now, and her content is all but deceased in potential. So let's get to the settlement offer. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm kind of braced, actually.
My settlement offer is for you to drop the lawsuit, for all parties involved. Even wonder, with prejudice.
With prejudice would guarantee, in writing in legal text, that Iilluminaughtii Blair would never ever try to sue anyone she has raised concerns about. Any of the defendants. All of them with prejudice. Giving them freedom from her cruelty.
I won't file counterclaims and would no longer be required to upload the second part to this video. And what do you get? A chance to prove your side of the story, or even take accountability for your actions. If you proceed with this lawsuit, by the time that it's done, especially with what's left of the judge's order, there would be no platform for you to return to, as you still need to answer for not just me, but for everyone else you've harmed on this platform. It would be difficult to return to a platform with a label that you hypocritically participated in the very business tactics that you've reported to be in opposition of for the past 4 years.
So Blair had made it quite clear she wasn't going to do that on YouTube. That was back when this all dropped. She made it quite clear that she was going to pursue the legal route because she believed that would be the correct way of handling this. I, back then, disagreed with that. If there was enough evidence to prove her side of the story, it would have been better in the court of public opinion and to protect the integrity of her channel had she come out all guns blazing with all the facts on her side. But she didn't. Her arrogance has undone her, but also the fact that she is clearly not in the right. The judge's orders that we have covered here are not on her side. She's running out of time. The judge wanted to dismiss all of this anyway. She's not done herself any favours, and if the threat of a part 2 is there, it would be right to consider stepping back, licking your wounds, and trying to rebuild or doing something else with your life. As I've said before, you may want to get used to saying the following. Would you like fries with that?
I'm offering you a chance to clear your name on a third-party neutral platform. Think of it as a conversation. Rather than use the corporate tactic of bullying those who speak out against you, why not prove you're different from them? You've previously stated that you feel as though you dumb down your language too much and you allow people to fill in the gaps that don't actually exist. So, here's your chance. Prove everyone wrong. If you're interested in going the route of proving publicly why you're in the right, to argue for your platform's right to existence, a discussion where all topics would of course need to be known by both parties beforehand.
Now this part's interesting because this would surely appeal to Blair's ego, and simultaneously not. Firstly, and quite rightly, it's worth pointing out that Blair does think of herself as smarter than she really is. That much is evident from the fact she couldn't understand the legal text that she was having to constantly amend out of desperation. The fact she knows her channel is dead, she's suing for defamation, but her channel will never exist properly after, regardless of outcome. So why is she persisting in this? When one is unwilling to admit they are wrong, it comes from a position of pride and arrogance. Pulling in tens of thousands of dollars a month to now barely pulling in a few $100s a month. That is a fall you brought on yourself because you were unwilling to accept you could be wrong. So this offer is an interesting one, and I would love to see this one accepted.
A lawsuit that'll drag on for the next few years will not clear your name like you hope. If anything, it has only further damaged your reputation, Blair, especially because you're suing the two parties who have publicly said the least. And I know you know this. No PR firm in the world could save you if you continue this lawsuit. Even if you did win, from what I've seen, you would just be seen as a bully who abused the legal system.
Even if it feels like a bit of a stretch, to be honest there, I don't see how she could win when she's had to so desperately and quite quickly change so much to get it to stick well enough for a judge to even look at it. But at the same time, you are also quite right. If she won, she'd be showing the kind of privilege she has over others. But with that, no discernible future for her where she could actually prosper, because the internet is not the same as a courtroom.
The rough outline that I'm proposing, and I am open to negotiations on these terms within reason. Plaintiff must dismiss all claims against all parties with prejudice once amicable terms are set forth. Plaintiff and myself will agree on a third party who we both independently trust to host a fair conversation. Their responsibility will be to ensure that each person is not spoken over and is given a chance to clear their mind. Plaintiffs may also take this time to take accountability for their actions instead if they wish.
Can you make this Mad Catster's channel? Cause I can't think of a better person to host it. I would suggest Legal, but I don't think Legal gives so much as one F about this.
Legal fees of either party will not be sought out, and this will be taken for the loss that it is. I can provide no personal guarantee in either circumstance that you, Blair, would be able to repair your public image or reputation. That is up to you. However, I am giving you the opportunity that your lawsuit will most certainly not. I would be open to additional terms being presented within reason. This settlement offer must be accepted, if at all, by a communication in writing delivered to my lawyer not later than the end of office hours June 7th.
At time of recording on June the 3rd, I have not seen any indication that this has yet to be accepted. I hope it is though. As much as I would take great amusement from the fact that Blair would drag this out, I don't actually want to see the defendants dragged for this long. The anxiety, the stress, and the pain that they are having to endure because of Blair is not right. And I am firmly, just for the sake of it, on their side. Just in case it wasn't clear enough. As if the multitude of videos I've done on Blair weren't enough of a giveaway. I do not trust nor believe Blair at all.
If my lawyer does not receive a response by the end of office hours on June 7th, I will assume that you've declined this offer, and I will proceed as planned with legal proceedings. We are open to negotiations within reason. I am only giving Blair this settlement offer because of the events which have occurred in my private life. If she declines, so be it. I have no qualms with proceeding with part 2.
Please accept the offer, Blair. I watched his entire video. There's no going back. You can go in all guns blazing, but the fact remains if you continue down this path, it is folly. And even if magically the courts side with you, your career online is done. At best, you'll be invited onto TED Talks to do one thing on Ponzi schemes, treated as a token, and then banished to the annals of history and irrelevancy where you currently reside. back into the void, the empty as it were. Oz Media should be given a massive amount of credit for making this video in the first place, and with all the information provided, the citations, the sources, it's very conclusive and thorough. Again, I highly recommend everyone go and watch the entire thing, and if you can, support via GoFundMe. Thank you.